All right, we're back.
We're back.
Episode 3.
Episode 3, everyone. We're doing it.
Third time's the charm.
That's the title.
Yeah.
Maybe
this time we'll have a good episode. Not that the other ones were bad, but this one's going to be actually really good.
Yeah. It'll be better than good.
Yeah. Should we give a little tease for what we've got in the episode?
What we got on the docket?
Yeah.
We could. Logan, do you want to start with a little trailer?
Sure. All right. Episode 3. For us, it's really kind of at the start of the new year. So we want to go over some things that are in and out for 2024. What's in, what's out. And along with that, we kind of want to go over some of our own personal goals and resolutions for the year.
And then we have a couple of personal interest things to talk about today. Just fun little snippets of our personality that, kind of want to share and reveal more about ourselves.
You'll have to stay tuned to find out what that is, though.
Yeah, no spoilers. And then lastly, it's winter. It's finally winter. God is letting us know that it is in fact winter. So we're talking a little bit about the weather.
We all thought we were getting off the hook in December.
We really thought global warming was going to carry us to like February. It is not.
Yeah, but more on that later.
More on that later. All right, so let's start tackling 2024 ins and outs. So I've seen this trend going around. And everybody either, when you Google 2024 ins and out, people either take it super serious and like actually have good fun with it, or they kind of just make fun of it. Call it a cliche, and I get it. Like every year, like you have the really superficial, like, oh, skinny jeans are out and mom jeans are in, and like trends just pass and come and go. But I like the take on the trend where you it's more than just a superficial. It's like actual, I don't want to use the word habits because habits are like ironically the mentality of thinking about a habit is out for me in 2024, but it's little, I don't even know how to describe it. Just it feels like when you,
so like not locking yourself in.
Logan, what do you think about the 2024 ins and out trend? When I pitched you the idea to do ins and outs, what was your first impression?
I mean, I think it's cool. It's like, what are some things that you want to see come back in 2024? What are some things that you want to see happen this year? And also, what are some things that we want to leave behind in 2023? We're moving on.
I kind of took it like a different, more personal take on the trend. And I'm reading the New York Times article about it. And their tagline is pretty interesting. And this article is called "What's in for 2024?" In and out lists, apparently. In the final days of 2023, social media was overrun with tongue-in-cheek predictions for the year ahead from regular people moonlighting as professional prognosticators. I really feel like they just made up that word. Prognosticators.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. Like procrastinator, except prognosis.
A person who foretells or prophesies the future. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
An oracle. Like the blind prophet Tiresias from Oedipus Rex, right? Yeah, he's an Oedipus Rex.
Yeah.
The blind one who sees all. So yeah, and I've seen a couple of like influencers, quote unquote, stick your tongue out at the term influencers, kind of make it more of a personal thing. So like when I made my ins and out lists, like my first the first thing that is out for me is the mentality of thinking about things as tasks that need to get done. I've always been a big to-do list kind of person. I've always loved a list. It just makes me feel more guided. Instead of seeing little things as mundane tasks that I need to get done, seeing them the way that they fit in the whole picture of my life and creating a ritual, and enjoying the moment that I'm in instead of waiting for it to pass or trying to finish it to get to the next one. That is what is in for me in 2024.
So kind of like taking your time with things, kind of going through them a bit more in detail and not just trying to get it done for the sake of getting it done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like scraping the ice off of the windshield in my car, you know, like obviously, yes, it needs to get done. And when I wake up in the morning and I go outside to my car and I see that it's covered in ice and snow, changing my initial reaction from, oh, shoot, I'm going to be late. I have to scrape all this off of my car. This is stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Instead of spiraling like that and just thinking, okay, this is my ritual for the day. I am going to scrape the ice off of my car. And then I'm going to get into my car. And then I'm going to drive to work safely and not worry about being late. And just be glad that I have a car to scrape the ice off of.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Yeah.
That's a good mentality, I think.
It's something that I've struggled with as I've gotten older, especially being very, very busy in college, and just getting through my classes to go to work, and then getting through work to get to dinner, and then going through dinner to get to rehearsals, and then getting through rehearsals to do homework, and then getting through that to take a 2-minute shower and go to sleep at 2 a.m. Like that was ingrained in me for like 3 years, and I really need to get out of it and like relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that, honestly. It is very easy to get kind of wrapped up in task mode. Just, I have to get through these tasks, and one after the other, finish projects, just keep doing things, check off lists. But sometimes you just kind of need to enjoy the task, you know?
Yeah, like enjoy the peace and the mundanity. Because what you may think is mundane now is going to be something that you yearn for in a year when your life is different and not as simple. Then again, I am 23. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know it's coming. Another thing that is out for me in 2024 is, I called it fast and big coffee.
So Starbucks.
So like Starbucks. Yeah. Sorry, girlfriend. I gotta cut the rope.
Yep.
And then what is in is homemade and small coffee, because where I live, there's like 3 little coffee joints very, very close to me. So Horace Vandergelder said that money is like manure, and it does no good unless it's spread out, encouraging young things to grow. And that's it's a silly quote from stupid Hello Dolly, but like it just sticks with me when I think about how I'm budgeting and spending my money. Like, why am I giving all of my money to a big corporation?
Yeah.
When I could be supporting a small business?
Yeah.
And helping it grow, right?
Yeah.
And I also, it kind of goes back to like the ritual. I love the ritual of making coffee, whether it's just putting my stinky little grounds into a drip machine or like actually pressing out espresso with a freaking hand crank. Like,
yeah.
I think making coffee is art. Baristas are artists, and I want to take part in the art.
Nice. For me, when I get coffee, I just go up to the coffee thing at work, pour it out into my cup, and then I put some creamer and sugar in it, stir it up, and then I'm good to go.
Right. Yeah. I have a couple of mugs that I use at work. One of them is a really cute Snoopy and Woodstock mug, and it says "back together." I don't know how they were ever apart, but I think it's cute that they're back together. And then I have another cute mug that has cinema roll on it from Sanrio, like the little long-eared Wonder Pup. And I love to take my silly mugs to the kitchen at the health department and wait in line after all the 40-year-old men pour out their coffee and then get my coffee. with my silly little girl mugs.
Here's an in. Health.
Preach. Holy moly. Preach.
Yes. Taking care of yourself, whether that's getting more movement in your day, doing a little bit of exercise, or just kind of being a little bit more active. And then maybe watching what you eat a little bit, trying to get some healthy foods.
Amen. Get your fruits, get your veggies.
Harder said than harder done than said. Easier said than
Yes,
done.
easier said than done. Drink more water.
Just kind of self-care. Take care of yourself. If you need rest.
Dude, I get it. That's been huge in my house lately.
You know, just like take mental health seriously. It's just as important as physical health. Your brain treats them both the same way. That is a big in this year.
Oh, yes. I saw something really interesting today that was the difference between self-coddling and self-love or self-care. And like, I think it gets really, really shaky when you want to call it self-coddling. And I think this is a very nuanced view, but I feel like self-love only becomes a problematic self-coddling when you're like excusing your actions on that basis, you know?
You can't love yourself too much.
And you can't let it play out that way. I think it's interesting that we're seeing that culture shift after like 3+ years of such an emphasis on self-love and self-care. And like I think it's obviously been a pandemic trend. And I wonder if COVID didn't happen.
If COVID didn't happen, a lot of things would be different.
A lot of things would be different. Would we be happier? I don't know.
Yeah. That's for Multiverse us to say.
That's for episode 5 us to say.
We'll do a what if episode on what if the pandemic never happened.
Really, really existential.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know if I could handle that.
Yeah, that one might be a little rough.
That might be a little. Maybe that's a season 2 thing.
Maybe. Season finale.
Oh, yeah. Or like the episode of Community where Abed has the 6 timelines.
Or we could just do it in March during the anniversary.
Oh god. 4-year anniversary. That's crazy.
Out this year though. What's something that's out this year? Let me think for a second.
For me, something that is out is apologizing for my interests / apologizing too much. I kind of lump those together. Because whenever I like talk about something that I'm passionate about, I'm always like, oh, I'm sorry, it's so dorky. Or like I apologize for having interests that are like, maybe they're not conventional, but like, they're cool to me, you know? Like, why am I apologizing for it? So the inverse of that is what is in for me is enthusiasm for what I enjoy. Easier said than done. And I think it's going to be something that I'm working on as like, I'm trying to stop worrying about what people think about me. And kind of realize that like, it's cool to have interests, no matter how uncool they may seem. And like, it's all part of what makes you you, right?
Yeah.
Like the dorky animes that I like that's me. The silly chick lit books, like the granny hobbies. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I also just apologize too much in general, so I need to like kind of stop accepting fault for things that are not my fault. And I'm in situations a lot where people try to like, people will, this is a really strong term, I'm just using for the example, they'll wrong me, and then they apologize, I call them out on it, they apologize, I accept their apology, and then they keep like trying to bait me into apologizing back, and I'm like, no, like, it's not how that works here. Like, you can give me as many excuses as you want for the way that you talk to me, but I'm not going to apologize because I didn't cause that. This is a little short and silly one. Out for me is perfection in hobbies, and then in is practice and patience, kind of going back to the ritual. Not everything I do has to be perfect. Like, it's not my job.
It's a hobby too, you know?
Mhm.
Like, it's just something that you do it's something that you do for fun, right?
If you're not having fun, then what's the point? Why are you doing it?
Alright, I think I've got something. It might be a little bit of an in and an out. I think this year it's politics.
I like where you're going with this.
Because 1,
Yeah.
I am so tired of it. It's out. I'm done. No more, please. I'm too tired to deal with it anymore. But on
Mhm.
the other hand, it is an election year.
Oh boy.
I don't like either of the 2 main candidates right now. I don't think anyone does.
No. The third party has a lot of work to do this year.
Third party might be the year for the third party.
Any year is the third year for the third party. If everybody who says that actually votes third party. I've been saying that for years.
But this year, if it is a rematch between you know who's, then it could very well be
Yeah.
the year for the third party.
Both of the main parties are so fractured. Like, there is no way that the incumbents are the best option. And if the conventions push them through the primaries, they're just sealing their own fate at this point.
I mean, like, the White House isn't a nursing home. Like, come on.
No, that's just common sense, dude. When you see the average 70-year-old, you're like, okay.
They've probably got like 10, 15 years left, you know. Maybe 20. It depends on the person, obviously.
Yeah, like if he's healthy, 10, 15 years.
Those 2, they're like in their 80s or so. And I know 80-year-olds that are pretty good, but they are not.
They're not. No, they have not taken care of their bodies. Politicians are notorious for that.
And being the president does take a huge toll on the body.
Yeah.
It is a very stressful and busy position.
Okay, the elephant is 77.
Yeah.
Remember that because I keep forgetting. And then the donkey is 81.
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. At some point, it's just common sense. And this is elder abuse. Like, this is honestly
Yeah.
just elder, like, continually electing older people in lifetime terms on the Supreme Court and in Congress are elder abuse.
There should be an age maximum. If there can be an age minimum, there can be an age maximum.
Preach.
And term limits for any political position.
Any elected office needs a term limit.
Yes. Even the Supreme Court.
Oh, especially the Supreme Court. Are you kidding? Jurisprudence changes so much year to year.
Yeah.
And, like, we should not have people serving on the Supreme Court in 2024 who got their law degrees in 1975.
No.
That's just ridiculous.
And how come it's only the president that can choose who gets on it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the president nominates the person, and then, like, the Congress and the Senate, they vote on it or whatever. But the American people have no say in it, and then the Supreme Court can go make decisions on rulings, and then that affects all Americans.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No. And, like, it doesn't make sense to me about how, like, and the Supreme Court, you're representative of public opinion, and you have never represented the public whose opinion you're supposed to be having, you know? Like, I feel like in that case, like yes, obviously you need to be a lawyer to be on the Supreme Court, but justices need to also have either time in Congress representing their districts so they know where they're coming from. But, like, most senators don't even have that anymore either, so.
Or maybe something like for each justice, they represent a different region or different parts of the United States, you know?
That's interesting.
So, like, there would be 1 or 2, maybe 3 that are, like, the big cities.
Yeah, like metropolitan.
And then a couple that are, like, a little bit more urban. Maybe some that are, like, Midwest, Southern, you know, stuff like that.
That's the thing, though. Like, in my idea, with my scant legal education. My opinion is that I feel like the Supreme Court, honest to God, should be 5 people. It should not be 9. There should not be 9 people on the Supreme Court, and it should not be so imbalanced.
It should never have been stacked in the first place.
No. And that started way before 2021.
Yeah, way before. That was that one of the Roosevelts that did it? I think it was the second one, right?
Yeah, I think it was FDR, yeah. If we're wrong, history people comment and tell us we're wrong for sure. But
I think he was one that really pushed that.
Politics is out because it's ridiculous and it's a clown show and every politician is a freaking clown, but it's also in because we have to, now more than ever, we need to be aware of what's going on. And like productive politics is, I think that's the key, and nothing has been productive.
Okay, I found an article about the Supreme Court. So some people want to expand it from 9 to 13, which no, that's a bad idea. So Congress created the Supreme Court with 6 justices in the Judiciary Act of 1789, which was the first bill. So it seems like it started with 6. And then after the Civil War, it was set to 9. Congress changed it down to 5 after the next vacancy to repeal the law before one occurred.
That's fucking bonkers.
During the Civil War, it was at 10.
Yeah, that's freaking nuts.
And it was apparently to help Lincoln fight slavery and keep the Union intact. And that was an interesting time.
A noble enough cause.
But yeah, packing the court was used to describe FDR's plan to expand the Supreme Court, which ended up failing.
There you go.
It would have allowed him to appoint an additional federal judge for everyone who is over 70, up to 6 justices. Interesting. So Congress has the power to limit it.
Yeah, Congress has the power to do anything if they wanted.
Yeah.
As long as they don't get vetoed by the
president.
Yeah.
That's what checks and balances is, you know?
Yeah.
I like how we started this with like politics is out and it's also in this year and we're just ranting about politics now. Yeah. I love that.
Didn't we say that we weren't gonna do that? Who cares?
Too late now.
Too late now.
But there's a quote by the first Roosevelt.
Okay, what do you say?
My man.
Ooh, Teddy the bull moose.
Teddy, my man. It was when he was younger, but he was kind of saying that it's important for young people to be interested in politics because they're the ones that are going to be in politics soon, you know?
Preach,
like they're the ones
Teddy.
making decisions for the country.
Yeah.
The decisions that are made are going to affect them the longest as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a stab at all the old people in office trying to do
all
things
the old
that
people need to get out.
actively hurt young people, like shutting down student loan forgiveness.
Reach. Y'all suck for that, for real.
All granted, it wasn't really done in the most legal way in the first place.
No. I just
However, the whole thing of it.
Who cares about the national debt? And I get that's really stupid for me to say, but like, who cares? It's just getting bigger. There's never going to be enough money to pay for that. Who cares? You're just pulling money out of your butt at this point. I don't understand.
Yeah, and during Clinton's presidency, the debt was on track to be completely gone in like a decade or two.
What happened?
Well, I think the Middle East can probably answer a couple of that.
Oh, you're right. I just sounded really vapid, huh? The Middle East, maybe.
War is kind of expensive.
That's true.
When the military takes up like 60% of your entire budget.
Crazy.
And we won't even get Social Security because it'll all run out by the time we're old enough to retire.
Yay, we're all gonna die. Woo. Honestly, I'll probably be dead before I retire, so.
You're planning on retiring?
Yeah, if IMRF has anything to do with it, yeah. Work until you die. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's talk about another In and Out.
Let's move on a little bit.
I want to talk about politics anymore. move on a little bit.
Out supporting mega corporations.
Yeah, screw you, Starbucks. You don't taste that good anyway. I'm keeping Dunkin' though because it's very nostalgic for me. And like,
Yeah, they are smaller.
it doesn't even really taste that good anymore. It's kind of smaller. I might try one more drink that's very specific. And then if it's good the way I remember, then like, okay, yes, I'll get Dunkin' sometimes when they're running a deal or like free donut Wednesday or something. But yeah, it really, gimmicks like that don't really make coffee worth it for me anymore. Dunkin' is just nostalgic.
An out for this year. Honestly,
Okay.
AI.
Yeah.
It is, at this point, it's become a buzzword
Oh,
and it doesn't really mean as much as I think it needs to. But AIs have lasted for a long time. They've been around for a while,
okay.
but now they're obviously a lot more advanced.
So do you think it's becoming like trivialized? Like everyone is talking about AI and it's not really as like big of a deal as it should be?
That, or it is already too big of a deal and it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Because it is very helpful for a lot of different things. But my problem with it is that people use it too much.
Uh-huh.
Because how did we get from back, even when I was young, the idea of robots taking over menial labor and humans get to be creative? How did that switch?
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, how did that switch?
Oh, you have such a good point. Like humans are still doing the manual labor, but robots are being used for the creative
Yeah.
stuff, like AI art and stuff. I hear you. That's ironic. That's crazy. Or like people using AI to like imitate voice actors and stuff.
Which AI does have its uses.
Yeah, I keep saying,
especially in the
Yeah.
creative industry. Like, it can be used to generate ideas,
Yeah.
kind of mix up new things. Even if it is pulling from older things, it can kind of mix that up a little bit.
Yeah. Because like no idea is original anymore. Yeah.
Or even like with storyboarding, it can kind of give you a creative vision for something,
Okay.
kind of help storyboard something. And honestly, AI with voice acting, I do think voice actors need to be paid.
Yeah. Like royalties.
However, when you are a small organization, voice actors are very expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it's $500 just for a 2-minute video. Like, it is a little expensive, but I mean, it is like essentially their job, you know. But like, I don't know. I'm torn on that one because it would be useful for some of that, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I definitely really I know a lot of voice well not I don't know any voice actor personally, but I know like that they like on Twitter and social media and stuff, some of them are very, very against it. And my conscience then is like, okay, well that they're the ones who are directly being affected. Like I should feel the same because empathy and solidarity. But I still like it because when content is put out for your favorite whatever so infrequently, you're just like you're just impatient.
Yeah.
I'm just impatient. And that's my own vice. And if that makes me a bad person, then so be it. But I never claimed to be a saint, guys.
You know, I think a good way to kind of help alleviate some of the worries of AI, like using our faces in things or using our voices in things, I think similar to how, like, when you take a photo, that photo is copyrighted automatically. I think when you're born, your face, your voice is copyrighted essentially. It cannot be used unless you give your explicit written permission, and it can only be used for certain things if they want to use it. Or like, if they wanted to use it for AI, then you have to give explicit instructions on what things it can be used for, like what projects it can be used for, and then it can't be used for anything else.
But then I feel like that would get muddy because, like, then it'd be like, what age can a child consent to having their voice done? You know?
Yeah, copyright law is always muddy.
And then, like, does it go up to the parent then? But then, can the parent really consent? I don't know. And then, like, when the child does turn 18, can they unconsent or reconsent? I don't know. Or like, when you get your license when you're 16 and they ask you if you want to be an organ donor, like kind of the same thing. It's just age of consent is just a weird concept, and I don't like it. And then it just ruins great ideas.
Because everyone's brain matures. Everyone's brain matures at a different rate. The body doesn't, though.
No.
The body doesn't mature until 18 minimum.
Yeah.
Even if you think you're mature when you're like 15, you're not.
You're not. Girlfriend, you're not. Honestly, I don't think no one is ever mature. Like mature is like it's like a concept you can strive for, and all of your experiences make you more mature and more streetwise or
more worldly,
people wise, or whatever.
Yeah.
Worldly, that's a good word, but like you're never going to be mature. Like
there's always more to learn.
Nirvana does not exist. Always more to learn. You're always going to have your vices. You're always going to be petty about something. And like you can try not to be, but
yeah, that's
literally like almost impossible. Can you hear the police car outside my window?
Only when you speak.
Okay, it's gone.
Woo, Kankakee.
Woo, Kankakee. A police car every couple of seconds.
Bro, when I was at Olivet, I heard more police cars and sirens out there than I do here.
That's the funniest thing. Like I remember sitting in lectures and just police cars blaring down Convent. It's just so funny.
Like I don't hear police sirens all that often here.
Yeah, that's nice. It's good.
It is nice. All right, do we have maybe one more in for this year?
One more in.
Then we'll move on to something else.
Yeah, I can kind of segue into something if you want me to. It's one of my ins and outs. So something that is probably won't actually be out, but something that I want to work on for sure is lowering my screen time and cutting some of my scrolling habits. And then consequently, what would be in for me, what I'd kind of want to spend that time doing instead is reading. Whether that be texts that are religious in nature or secular, however you want to say it. 2024 is going to be the first year that I have an actual like book goal, and that number for me is 30.
Wow.
And it's 10 days into 2024 I have read 3.
All right.
So
nice.
I feel like it's doable. Doable. I'm saying I want to shoot for like 40, but I think like if I say 40, then I definitely won't. But
I mean, there's 52 weeks in a year, so one a week would be 52. Yeah,
it's like less than a book a week. Yeah,
it's like a week and a half or so.
Yeah,
that's
per
doable.
book, which is like pretty it's doable. And so that being said, I kind of would like the space to kind of every so often pop in and talk about books that I've been reading, books that I have read. And I think that will be a really good way to kind of keep me accountable and keep me on track. So today I want to talk about 2 different books that I've read so far this year. One of them I read before. The one was a new read. So the book that I've read before is called The Body in Question. It's by Jill Cement, and this one is they're both really silly. The book kind of starts with the scandalous murder trial in southern Florida, and that brings a group of sequestered jurors together, and they're cooped up in a cheap lodge off the highway during the trial. And while sitting in trial, juror C2, she duels hearts, and she writes cute little notes like "I have a lover" on her notepad. And this affection is not geared towards her elderly husband that she left at home, but at the handsome F-17 sitting one row in front and one seat diagonal from her. The next month is filled with secret notes, secret lunch dates, secret rendezvous, and secret identities because they're sequestered. They don't tell each other their names. But they do know, see, they know that C2 is a photographer and F17 is an anatomist, and they find themselves more entwined in the world without discussing the trial, and their oath is kept, their secret is kept, and their affair is clandestine, and everything seems it's fine, it's wonderful, it's great. They're having fun until the two lovers find themselves on opposite sides of the verdict as F17 becomes the foreman of deliberations. Their rose-colored glasses are shattered, and as the jurors return home, their anonymity and their peace after the trial is threatened as the conditions surrounding the case find a new spotlight. So C2, once she's back home, she is now Hannah once again, and she must deal with the personal and moral consequences of what she calls her last dalliance before she is too old. My opinions about this book is that I think the way that the affair between C2 and F17 is written is just like absolutely transfixing, like beyond enchanting. It just has this haunting, eerie quality to it. And there's an age gap between C2, Hannah, and her husband, like a good 25, 30 years. And then there's like a little like 10-year gap between her and F17. And that dynamic kind of contributes to his absolute admiration for her. And it is literally like visceral, and it's woven very deep into the muscles and the fascia beneath his skin. And that kind of the emphasis on that, it creates a really eerie intimacy that the author captures well in the very ambiguous love scenes. One of them is F17 literally like demonstrates a dissection on C2's like skin, like tracing the outline of the muscles on her body. And I really appreciated the ambiguity that Cement uses when describing the physical act. And she creates a really interesting contrast with that ambiguity and the specificity of C2's justification for the affair. So for one last time, she can feel powerful and rich in her femininity. She is aging now, but she knows that she is still desirable to a man who won't crumble and bruise beneath her feather-light touch like her husband would. She multiple times talks about how she could squeeze F17 as hard as she wants to, and he would still be intact in the morning. But in reality, Hannah is just as frail as her husband is. The ending is wrapped around a really sick irony where she has to rely on the one person who violated their sacred trust that they didn't even know was there. So The Body in Question is a really, really profound story that will stick with me forever thanks to Cement's evaluation of love, feminine power, grief, and reliance, and her provoking use of language within the narrative. This book it's a fiction, mystery, thriller, not quite chick lit, but borderlining. It was first published in June of 2019, and on my own little rating scale is 5 out of 5 lupine flowers, and is one of my favorite books ever. There's a little list of books that I've read that I will just never, ever, ever, ever get sick of, and this is one of them.
All right.
I feel like that was like super, super wordy and crazy, but
no, that was good. That was good.
I want to start writing more reviews like this and putting them on my Goodreads. Kind of a shameless plug. Add me on Goodreads. And you will get to read and hear more crazy books about women and their infidelity.
Ooh, scandalous.
Speaking of, I have another one prepared if you want to hear it, or if you want me to wait, that's fine too.
I think we could probably wait till next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Make you come back for next week.
So just to give you a little teaser, that month we'll be talking about, or that week, we'll be talking about the book called That Month in Tuscany by Inglath Cooper. I think it'd be super fun to start a book club with this too, but we'll see where that goes. I finished that book yesterday, and it was good. But I'll get into all the deets about it next week. And currently, I just started reading The 100 Loves of Juliet by Evelyn Skye. And so far, I absolutely adore it. I'm really excited to see what else happens. I'm on page like 30, so very, very exposition. But I love anything that plays with the Romeo and Juliet vibe. So I'm like, yes, I am here. Let's get to it. But yeah, that was my review of The Body in Question by Jill Cement.
All right.
Ah,
Guess it's my turn for my little segment.
yeah. What do you want to share this week?
I saw a movie recently. This is honestly probably a modern classic from the legendary Studio Ghibli. Mr. Miyazaki himself,
Oh my
The
god!
Boy and the Heron.
Yes! Oh, I just probably ruined our soundbite. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to see this movie, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to say about it. Oh my gosh.
It is so good.
Oh my god.
It is beautiful.
Mm.
It is animated with love, with care.
Uh-huh.
It's one of the few movies that's animated in a classic style. Most things nowadays are 3D animated or 3D mixed with 2D, but this was pure 2D, like hand-drawn animation. It was amazing.
Uh-huh. Oh my god. Yes.
It's about a boy, obviously, and it takes place in wartime Japan during World War II.
Ah, yeah. The Grave of the Fireflies vibes. I love it.
Yeah. And it starts with kind of a harrowing sequence of the boy losing his mother. There's like a big fire and like he's trying to go and save her, but he fails. And then a little bit after that, his father and him move out and I think he ends up like essentially remarrying her sister,
Oh,
I think.
the father does?
Yeah, because the mom had a sister,
Ours one does.
which it's Japan and that time period. I think that kind of makes sense for that. And there's weird stuff that happens at their new house, like a heron that is voiced by Robert Pattinson,
Yes, I've seen that. Oh my god, he does such a good job.
which, by the way, the dub cast in it is stacked. Christian Bale is in it.
Is he playing Hal again?
I think he's actually the boy. I might be wrong. He might be the father or something. I don't remember who he played. Florence Pugh is in it. I think Mark Hamill and Willem Dafoe are also in it. Let me pull up the cast list real quick because there was a lot. Yeah, Christian Bale is the main character. Soichi Maki. Dave Bautista is in it. Yeah, Mark Hamill, Florence Pugh, Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, Gemma Chan.
That's crazy.
Like it's a stacked cast, and they all did such an amazing job with it. No one phoned it in. Like they all enjoyed it. They all really gave it their all with it. Which for celebrities doing voice acting, sometimes they phone it in, but none of them did that. They went all out with this. And so you kind of follow the boy as he tries to kind of go after the heron who's teasing him about his mother. And it's like you can save her. And so he's going after the heron and then he kind of goes through this magical adventure. And then I won't spoil the end.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Especially since it is so new. But it is a must watch. Even if you're not like a huge fan of animated films, like the story in it is amazing. Like, it straight up almost made me cry. Like, it was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited.
If I were to give it a rating, I don't think it was a 10 out of 10 for me. I think 10 out of 10s are reserved for very, very special films, ones that just completely shatter all expectations, just perfect. But I do think it was close. Probably like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I'll go with 9. Like, it's very good.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
And speaking of The Boy and the Heron, it won a Golden Globe for animated film, I believe.
I saw it was Miyazaki's first Golden Globe. Okay, well, it is January 10th, and a lot of the country is getting absolutely how do I say this without getting demonetized? There's a lot of snow out there. We're getting wrecked by some snow, y'all. I don't know how it is in Kansas, but in Illinois, we're supposed to be having a storm Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray!
Yep.
Um,
We're getting that one Thursday night.
you're getting it before us.
Yep. We get things about like a day before you guys.
That makes sense. And if you're anything like me, you have driving anxiety anyway, and then snow just makes it so much worse.
Yeah. The main thing with driving in snowy conditions is to exercise more caution than normal.
Preach.
Maybe go a little bit slower, leave a little bit more space between cars, just exercise a bit more caution.
Amen.
And also clear off your car.
Yeah. Scrape the ice off your car. There is nothing more annoying than that asshole in front of you who didn't clean his car, and then the snow flies off the roof of his car and hits your windshield, and you're like, oh shoot, what was that? Don't be that asshole, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Please don't.
Don't.
Like, clear off the top of your car as well. It doesn't take that long to do
Yeah.
if you know what you're doing. Maybe just plan a little bit more time in your daily commute.
Leave a little bit earlier.
If you know that you have to clean off your car in the morning, get up a little bit earlier. Maybe you skip a few things in your morning routine and use that time to clear off your car, depending on how bad it is. Like, mine was pretty bad. It took me like 45 minutes to clear off my car today
Really? No way.
because there was like probably 4 or 5 inches of snow on top of my car.
Did you have to shovel yourself out?
No, I didn't have to shovel myself out.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad, but it was just a lot of like really powdery snow.
Yeah.
So it was like really hard to get off. But yeah, just like leaving that extra bit of time, clear off your car, make sure you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's always better to get to work a little bit late
Then
than to not get there at all.
die. Yeah. And like that is what I tell myself on the daily.
And if there's if there's a giant truck behind you tailgating you being a dumb boy, just remain calm.
Don't speed
Don't
up.
do anything rash. They'll figure it out eventually. They might be a little slower.
They can pass you if they really want to. Just keep doing you.
That or they'll just have to wait.
You're not responsible for their behavior, so be gentle with yourself.
Be a defensive driver.
So also, if you're driving a long distance or afraid you may have to drive through snow, always a good idea to plan for maybe getting stuck. Maybe having to pull off and wait for something to pass.
Yes.
So, having blankets in your car, having a safety kit with stuff like a flashlight,
Yep.
chargers.
A charged flashlight that is not your phone, because you do not want to be using your car battery
No, you do not.
in an emergency like that if you are stuck for a while in the snow.
Yeah.
Because then you'll drain out your battery and then you won't be able to go anywhere at all and you won't have any heat either.
No. So, that being said, gloves, jumper cables, little first aid kit, a little shovel for when it's safe for you to dig yourself out. You can dig yourself out, but only when you're safe. What else? Some lights, some flares so people can see you if they choose to keep moving. Really remedial tools, water, duct tape, pressure gauges, poncho, extra clothes, extra shoes, hand warmers. They sell kits like these. They're kind of expensive. You can kind of gauge what you may need to get by and just keep that in your car. Your car may already have cables. You might already have gloves. You might already have a little shovel and little flares.
It depends on where you're driving.
Depends on your needs. Depends on where you're driving.
But it's always good to be prepared.
Yep.
Check the weather ahead of time.
Yes.
Be alert.
Be alert. Always have an emergency kit in your car, even when it's not snowing.
And be safe. You never know what will happen.
No, you do not.
Not to say that it will, but some people are really dumb on the roads, especially when there's a dusting of snow.
And they forget how to drive. Yep.
If there is a snowplow, do not pass them. Let them do their job. Do not pass them, otherwise your car will get covered in snow. They typically try to work in times that it's not super busy in traffic, but sometimes they have to, so just let them work.
Just let them do their thing. They're just trying to help.
And don't tailgate them.
No, oh my god.
Because sometimes they also spray salt.
Yeah.
You don't want that on your windshield.
No, you do not want that on your windshield. No. Pull off for emergency vehicles.
That should be a no-brainer.
I get it. Sometimes you don't hear them. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But like when they're on your butt, pull off. That's your sign to move.
I feel like they're kind of hard to miss, you know? Like if there's a vehicle with flashing lights, maybe give them some room.
Move. It like, I don't know, driving in the areas that I get to drive in, it's like, no, I don't live in Chicago. People drive like it's freaking Chicago. And it's not. Like, sir, you're driving through Kankakee. The speed limit is 35 miles an hour. Why are you going 50?
Well, do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
I think that's about it, except for publishing episode 2.
Publishing episode 2.
Title of episode 2.
What are we going to call that?
What did we talk about in that episode even? We did a big lore drop. Yeah, big lore drop. Important episode.
Important episode. Talked about the Wacky New Year. We can call it Wacky New Year. We could do third time's the charm for this one. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that for this one, honestly. But for episode 2, introductions to the lore. The drop of the lore. Yeah. Description.
You've heard us talk about our old podcast before. But what actually was it? What happened? In episode 2, we take a blast to the past as we talk about our podcast and all the roads that led us here. We should use our name. Do you want to like swap whose name is first in each description? Do you think it matters? Yeah. So Logan and Kailee keep talking about their old podcast. Yeah, let go of the past. Hell yeah. Can't let go of the past. In this episode, they do a deep dive into the lore. Explore the lore of the... Do you want a name drop? Oh, never mind. Of the now defunct Alphabet Gazette. What else do we talk about? Yeah. We should just have a little sense, but like we also begin to acclimate ourselves to the crazy, to adapt to 2024 or whatever. As we lore dump, trauma dump, and something. We try to survive. We try to survive another year in our 20s or something. Getting sued. Hashtag sorry, Owen, you. As we try not to get sued. Nice. Nice. Hashtag relatable. Nice.
There we go.
7 a.m. Oh boy, 7 a.m. Season 1, episode 2. We're really doing this. We're really doing this.
Should we add a Q&A question for episode 2? What should our question be?
What has been the craziest thing that's happened to you so far in 2024?
If you have anything, like any feedback, anything at all, feel free to message us on our Instagram.
Yes.
Link is in the description.
Feel free to message us personally.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That too.
I wouldn't mind. That too.
Yeah. Any ideas for future episodes? We're always welcome for that.
Anything you want to hear, send it our way.
Yeah.
I think we're done for tonight, Logan.
Yeah. I think we did it.
All right.
Episode 2
Episode 2
will have been out by the time this episode is out.
Yeah.
Episode 3. That's a wrap on it.
Wrap. Third time's the charm. Getting the hang of it.
Yeah. Third time's a charm.
Getting stronger every day. All right, everybody. Well, my name is Kailee.
My name is Logan.
And we don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing.
It's been a joy to spend time with you tonight.
Or this morning. Whenever you're listening, it's always a joy.
To it. It's always a joy. Always a joy to be in your ears. You. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we hope you check us out again soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.